Hello everyone, I hope you're keeping well and have been enjoying our assemblies over the last week. Today I thought I'd provide you with a bit of an update into the Australian bushfires, which we learned about back in January. And I know lots of you were really concerned about what was happening during that time. And we had a cake sale in school which helped to raise money to support some of the koalas and the animals that had been affected. So Australia experienced the worst bushfire season ever in 2019, with fires blazing for months in large parts of the country. Around 126,000 square kilometres of land and thousands of buildings were destroyed, and at least 33 people were killed. Many animals were also injured or killed because of the flames and the damage that was done to their habitat. You can see from the map of Australia here that Victoria and New South Wales were the worst affected parts of the country, and the situation was so bad that a state of emergency was declared in the capital city, Canberra. Now, Australia is used to the bushfires. They're a natural part of the country's summer season, but normally they last for a couple of weeks and are not very big. However, this season they started earlier than usual and they spread much faster, they burned hotter, and they lasted a lot longer. There had been months of a drought and there was a real lack of rainfall, and that combined with climate change contributed to the speed of the fires. They reigned from June 2019 until March 2020, with the worst of the fires happening in December and January. Thousands of people lost their homes and many had to leave their houses to live in temporary accommodation until the danger had passed. Smoke had caused big problems for people, with some schools keeping pupils inside during break times to protect them and to avoid having to inhale any of that smoke. It was particularly hard for those with breathing problems, so people who suffered with asthma, and lots of people wore face masks outside to try to avoid breathing in the smoke. The situation got so extreme that the army was called in to help during the emergency, and lots of firefighters and volunteers risked their lives to tackle the flames. It's thought that at least 1 billion animals died in the fires. Kangaroo Island, which is off the south of Australia, was particularly badly hit, with around half of the island affected by the flames. Clinics were set up to help the injured animals, and the army had to be brought in to help clean up after the fires. The loss of habitat caused further problems for the animals that survived. They were left struggling to find food with little shelter, and it made them slightly more vulnerable to predators, so they were at a greater risk than before. Lots of people raised money to help the animals affected by the bushfires, and we did our part in school by holding a cake sale, which we raised over £100, and that made us part of the community which helped to support them. And some people even knitted kangaroo pouches for joeys who had lost their mums. In some areas, the flames reached as high as 100 metres tall. Australian trees, like the eucalyptus tree, can cope with small fires, and they even need the heat for their seeds to be released. But these fires were unusually hot and intense, which caused a lot of damage to them. Other trees are not as well adapted to heat and fire, and lots of them were so badly damaged by the bushfires that they died. The ash from the fires also caused problems by washing into the rivers, causing pollution and chemical changes to the water, which damages the fish, the creatures, and any of the plants that are living there. The loss of trees and plants also made flooding and landslides more likely, as roots that help to hold the soil together and plants soak up the rainfall have all disappeared, meaning that the earth would wash away much more easily, causing soil erosion. Although most of the bush will grow back, it is going to take several years for Australia to recover from the last set of bushfires that they've had, and we know that they're due to experience more of them as they start to creep in again towards the end of this year as part of their season. Lots of you did your bit by buying cakes from the cake sale, and I know that the communities in Australia and still around the world, lots of people are working incredibly hard to make sure that this continues so that they can start to redevelop and piece together back their community. Well, that's it for now, and I look forward to seeing you all again on Friday, ready for our celebration assembly.